Today I fucked up by almost ruining a random guy's life. I just read a similar post before and it reminded me of my own fuck up. Here it goes. Obligatory. This happened many years ago, when my sister and I were in middle school. My parents had just gotten me a new flip phone, so naturally we decided to mess with random people, as the dumb kids we were. We would anonymously dial my new phone number, except we would switch the last digit. We tried a few phone numbers, but they either didn't exist, or they wouldn't pick up, until number 6 finally did. I honestly can't remember what we told the poor fella, who was obviously very confused. He's getting an anonymous phone call from 2 random kids. We were having a blast messing with him, and we kept calling him every other day, because we were assholes and we loved causing trouble. A few weeks went by and we were still calling this poor, innocent man, every so often, just to make stupid jokes and mess with him. He would usually tell us to leave him alone and stop calling, but back then phones didn't have an option to block calls from unknown numbers, at least I think so he was stuck with us. This one day, he sounded very sad, almost like he had cried. Before we even got to say anything, we heard a woman's voice in the background. She was yelling at him, telling him to give her the phone. I don't think he wanted to, but she took it by force, and I remember the anger and sadness in her voice to this day. Sounded like she had been crying too. Who are you and why are you calling my husband? Do you know you've ruined our marriage? I can't sleep at night. I can't stop thinking of how the man I've been married to for 20 years is cheating on me. What do you want from our family? We have 3 kids. You fucking whore. What do you want from him? Is it his money? You've destroyed our family. I froze. My sister froze. This poor woman wouldn't stop yelling and crying, and we of course had the phone on speaker, so our mum heard. She thought something happened, so she barged into our room. Guilt was written all over our faces as she instantly took the phone and started talking to the poor lady, trying her best to explain that her husband isn't actually cheating on her. We're just extremely dumb kids making a cruel, stupid joke. Lady was actually relieved, although extremely angry. Needless to say, we both got our asses chewed out and the phone was taken away from us, rightfully so. Too long didn't read, called a random number a bunch of times, almost ruined an innocent guy's marriage. That was intense. Yeah man. We were so scared when we heard that lady crying. We thought we were just having some harmless fun, then all of a sudden it felt so real. I'm confused. I'm assuming she heard him talk to a girl and she thought he's hiding something. He would always say, I told you to stop calling me. I'm a married man, and maybe she heard that by accident and assumed he's cheating on her. Or maybe there was more going on with that family. Maybe he had cheated before and she was suspicious. I don't know tbh. I don't remember exactly what we were telling him, because we used to call so many random numbers and say stupid shit like you got me pregnant, which, at the time, seemed really funny to us. Think about it, he might have made a plan to prank you the next time you called. Just like you were messing with him. That actually makes the most sense. Glad to hear you've learned from this. The butterfly effect. Today I fucked up by taking one last drink of water. This happened last night. Too long didn't read. At the end, I have a few 32 ounces cups with the lids I use for water. I grab one in the morning, and use it throughout the day. It was about empty, so I took one last gulp of water before I was going to refill it. Have any of you ever taken a big gulp of something, and before you realize something is wrong you've already swallowed most of it? Yeah, I ended up taking a big gulp of spider parts. It must have been crushed and torn apart by the ice I had in there, and had settled on the bottom. Spit out a few pieces of it, but I know I swallowed most of it. Little bits were all over the inside of my mouth. I don't know if it was on the inside of the lid before I filled it or if it snuck later. I vomited for at least 10 minutes. Much longer than it took for my stomach to be completely empty. My stomach muscles are sore and thinking about it makes me start gagging again. Too long didn't read, itsy bitsy spider crawled into my drink. Bit out a leg then threw up in the sink. Haha, that's awful, but the too long didn't read is a great little rendition. Hope you feel better. I sang the itsy bitsy spider melody while reading you too long didn't read. I've got preschoolers. I think I dream in rhymes sometimes. What a waste of perfectly good protein. This is almost as bad as those videos of things crawling out of someone's ear. I'll never trust a lid again. No dessert for you, op. Or, I'm almost as crushed as he was. Today I fucked up by masturbating in a porta-potty. This was a long time ago, more than 8 years ago. I was really into cycling in high school and did a few competitions, so I would often go for 40+ mile rides on the weekend. Mind you, I was a late bloomer, so I also was discovering myself and was extremely horny without any sexual partners, so my hand did the trick. During one particular ride, I was wearing the right riding shorts that would rub me just the right way, which was extremely distracting as I'm trying to just get exercise and strengthen my legs. After going for about 10 minutes like this, I knew it had to go away, so I went into search mode to work the demons out of me. I was nowhere near any public restrooms, my house, nowhere. Only nature and the open road. It wasn't long before I came across a random porta-potty near an intersection and decided it will have to do the trick. Several minutes of action later and I look out the front mesh window to see two women in a car laughing in my direction. A little investigation and I realized that the rising sun was projecting my shadow in the potty just right for passing drivers to see what was going on. Obviously embarrassed, I waited until they were long gone and busted out of there, riding home in shame. Too long didn't read, people could clearly see me rubbing one out due to the sun projecting a shadow outline of me while in the porta-potty. Would love to know the level of horny you gotta be to jerk it in a porta-potty. Props for your bravery though. I can't imagine even having a boner while jacking it to the rotten fucking smell of 50 other people's fermenting piss and shit. /Tales from John. To be fair, it didn't make the porta-potty any more gross. Yes it did. On top of the mounds of maggot-filled human shit and sour piss, now there's a horny bicyclist's seed to add icing to the cake. Did you finish? I'd be surprised if he didn't. Says he spent an awful long amount of time in there. Wait, what? How are porta-potties made where you live that the sun can cast a shadow of the person in it? That would mean you're at least partially visible to anyone looking at it. In the US, they're solid plastic all the way around.